The new tax bill created a brand new tax deduction for 2025 that's going to help a lot of folks save a little bit of money on their taxes, but you need to know how this thing works. We're talking about auto loan interest. Let's go take a look. Auto loan interest. This is something that has not, at least recently, been deductible on a personal tax return, but you get up to $10,000 this year. A very valuable thing if you know how to do it. That's what these 4 bullet points are about. You get up to $10,000 deductible. That's what we just said. Important to know, this is not a tax credit, it is a deduction. So if you have 100K over here in income and you have this 10K deduction, you paid what, 10, 30, whatever in interest, you get that 10K. It's going to reduce your taxable income to $90,000. Important to know how that works right there. Not a credit, but a deduction, still valuable, could save you a couple grand depending on where you're at income wise. The second point, above the line. All this means, it's a fancy way of saying everybody can take this deduction and it's not itemized. So if you're paying car loan interest and you're within the income phase outs we'll talk about down here, you are eligible to take this deduction again, even if you're not itemizing your deductions. Key info you're gonna need, if you're coming to me, you better have your VIN and you better have a statement from your provider. That is important information. We can't be guessing at these things. You need to come in and have that information settled. You should be receiving a statement from your loan provider or your loan servicer this year that should tell you exactly how much you paid in interest on that loan. And then the last point we're making here, income phase outs. If your modified adjusted gross income, again, fancy term here, don't worry too much about it, but if that is 100K and you're single, you start to phase out of this deduction. Same thing if you're married, $200,000, you start to phase out. You get a little more as you go above these income limits, but eventually that deduction will phase out altogether. Most important thing, 10K above the line. Remember your key info and don't forget about those phase outs. So you have your key info, we want to bridge that directly to the tax form. So if you're ever getting in there and looking at this yourself, you know what you're looking at, you know how to find some of this stuff. That's what we're going to flip over to right now. This is the actual tax form. So this is a brand new tax form for 2025. This is going to house all these different new things that you know or you probably heard about that might be on tax or your tax return this year. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on car loan interest, which is of course what we're diving into here. And then there's a couple other ones, enhanced deductions for seniors, and there's some additional things you can have that aren't listed on the form. Importantly though, we're coming back and we're looking at this no tax on car loan interest. Now you can see we've zoomed in, taking a look at the important information. We reviewed this earlier, we talked about it, but we just want to see exactly how it shows up on this form. And we can see here, they're asking right there for your VIN. So we're looking at the VIN, we're looking for your schedule, well this is the schedule 1A, but you will receive a form that goes in this other red circle here. This is where you're gonna, this is where the information would be entered on your tax return and tell them how much you paid in car loan interest. And eventually all this other jargony stuff down here is essentially how for them to suss out the threshold that you're dealing with. But again, this is the important information. Bring this to your tax preparer. You should be able to get that interest deduction this year for 2025, again, if you qualify. So auto loan interest, if you have it, something would be easy to forget because it hasn't been deductible in the past, but you have, or you are potentially eligible for a tax deduction this year. Make sure you bring that in for your tax preparation so you can assess it and see if it qualifies for you to get a little tax deduction. I'm Matt Speckman, I'm a CPA, thanks for coming. Come back soon, we're gonna have plenty of tax videos this tax season. Come get educated, see you next time.